After I finished one of my biggest paintings in my last video, I've been feeling a bit unenthusiastic about starting another large-scale artwork. I see this as a sign to take out my sketchbook again and switch things up a bit by trying a new medium that I haven't tried in a while, which is gouache. On my Pinterest page, there is a folder I created called Great Lighting Portraits, where I have been collecting a bunch of reference photos, and today, I finally chose one of them to paint. There's this saying, do what you love and you'll never work a day in your life. But what do you do if something you usually love doing, like creating art, starts to feel like work? Join me as I paint a small realistic portrait with gouache and chat about rediscovering spontaneity and fun in your art process to level up and make you a better artist than before. I specifically chose a reference photo that has a bunch of color variation in the skin because of the dramatic lighting. This gives you a lot to work with when painting the face. I found that the success of your portrait depends on whether or not you chose the right reference photo for the occasion. I'll leave a link in the description to both this reference photo and my Pinterest page, where I have collected other reference photos in a similar style that you might like. As you can see, I am freehand sketching this portrait. Usually for more complicated artworks, I like to use a projector to trace, so it's been some time since I've sketched freehand. Interestingly enough though, despite this, I actually found that my freehand sketching skills improved, even though I didn't specifically train myself in this field lately. Perhaps it goes to show that even when you're not actively training your technical sketching skills, as long as you're still creating, your eye for identifying facial proportions, shapes, and form is developing. Honestly, I think sketching is one of my least favorite parts of the painting process, especially freehand sketching, because I can't help but feel pressured to make the sketch as accurate as I can, which for me sucks the fun out of creating art. So, for this portrait, the goal wasn't to create an accurate sketch, but to enjoy the process and just get it down. Ironically though, even though I wasn't trying to make an accurate sketch, I was actually very happy with how this sketch turned out. For this portrait, since I'm using gouache, I'm working from dark to light. As a watercolor portrait artist, this is the opposite to what I'm used to, which is working from light to dark. I am trying to blend with my brush as little as possible, and instead am mixing a lot of transitional shades. If you haven't been enjoying creating your art much lately, it's possible it's because you simply forgot to have fun. Try a new medium, paint something you'd usually never paint, or just let go of expectations and let yourself simply create for the sake of it, regardless of the results. I think we really underestimate the power simply switching mediums can have on renewing your love for creating art. When you switch something up in your creative process, you are forced to trust the process and come along for the ride. I think that this mindset is something we sometimes forget as artists. Often we get so caught up in making what we are creating look good or making art the right way that we slowly lose sight of why we enjoyed creating in the first place. Vincent van Gogh once said, "Normality is a paved road. It's comfortable to walk, but no flowers grow on it." Through shifting your mindset from productivity and expectations to prioritizing curiosity, you make room for yourself to grow and discover your voice as an artist. Throughout the process of painting this portrait, I would remind myself to relax and to not take myself or my art too seriously. I noticed that at times where I would reach a challenging bit or start getting stressed out, my body would be so tense all over. Whenever this happened, I would literally take a deep breath, relax, and tell myself, it's not that serious, it's just a painting. Remember to enjoy yourself. And I would continue with a new wave of inspiration. And actually, despite not loving gouache when I first tried it a long time ago, this time around, I enjoyed it so much that I went on and happily filled up this sketchbook page, and now I'm considering making a bigger art piece using gouache. This portrait is one of 4 gouache portraits, each one of which will have their own videos. In my last artwork, I painted leaves in the sun, and I painted in the details on the leaves with gouache. So for this painting, you can see me using the extra green gouache on my palette for both the hair and the background. The weather is finally warm where I live, and in this season, join me in trying to be open to trying new things, keeping an open mind, and saying yes to opportunities. One evening this week, I spontaneously went to a chalk pastel workshop. We were given a reference photo, which was this sunset on the ocean. This was my second time making an artwork with chalk pastel, and I don't think I've ever painted detailed water like this before, so going in, I had zero expectations and just let myself experiment with the chalk pastels. In the end, I was pleasantly surprised and really happy with how my chalk pastel artwork turned out. I am using a thin-tipped natural hairbrush for the details, which I have linked down below. Before laying down a stroke, I usually practice several times in the air right above where I want to paint. This helps you be more intentional with your strokes. When you start bringing more spontaneity and fun back into your art, you stop overthinking and your ideas start to flow more freely. Instead of trying to make everything perfect, you start to explore, take risks, and try new things. This mindset actually helps you grow faster as an artist, as you learn more by doing, messing up, and experimenting than by playing it safe. You might even surprise yourself with what you're capable of. If anything in this video was helpful and speaks to you, please leave a like and share your thoughts in the comments down below. Thank you for watching.